This video is for anybody who feel like they're not gonna make it. There was a point in my life where I was in a real tough situation and I just felt like I wasn't gonna make it through. Today I am at a park across the street from the hospital that I was at when the incident happened. This is the hospital right behind me. About 3 years ago, I spent about 3 to 4 weeks in this hospital. And I'm gonna tell y'all the story on what happened. So a couple years back, on the day of my son's first birthday party, I was throwing this birthday party and I felt super sick. Now, I had been feeling sick before then because I had a pain in my neck and I could not figure out where it was coming from. At his birthday party, it was so much worse. They had sent me home with medicine after I went to the hospital the first time, and they sent me home with medicine. They said, take this medicine, you're gonna be okay. By the end of his birthday party, I knew I was not okay. There was nothing okay. So what I did was I went back to the hospital to see if I could figure out what was really going on. This time they kept me overnight because they finally felt like it was a lot more serious than they thought it was before. As they kept me overnight, the pain in the side of my neck started to get a lot worse. And it got to the point where I felt like I couldn't really swallow stuff that well. So by the end of the night, they told me that in the morning they were gonna send me back so I can get a surgery done to try to clear up whatever was going on and causing that pain in my neck. Now, the next morning, my mom came up, one of my really good friends came up, and she stayed up there with me, and I talked to them before I went into surgery. I go into surgery, a couple hours go by, I come out, and nothing's changed. The doctor said they tried to clear it out and they were gonna see if it made a difference, but we ended up finding out it didn't make a difference at all. So then they decided to do another surgery to see if they could try to clear it out. Now, this is another day after that, so I stayed another night. Next day, my mom and my sister showed up right before I went into surgery, and this is where the story kind of just takes a dramatic turn. As I'm going through this surgery, a couple things happened. You might believe me, you might not. In the middle of this surgery, I feel like the anesthesia started wearing off because I can remember stuff that was being said as the surgery was going on. Now, if you didn't know, I have a nice amount of tattoos, probably too many tattoos to count, but at this time, as I was going through the surgery, I can vividly remember them flipping me over. I couldn't move though, so I couldn't move at all, but I remember them flipping me over and reading my tattoo that's on this arm, I want to say. And then I don't remember anything else after that. Next thing I know, I woke up from the surgery and I can't move. And I look over and I see my mom, and they're holding her up. She's crying, my sister is crying, and I'm like, what's going on? At this time, the anesthesia is still wearing off. So after I seen them holding my mom up, I'm seeing my mom crying, I fall right back to sleep. And now I'm a little nervous because I just remember seeing my mom crying like that. I have all of these breathing tubes, all this machinery, this mask on, and I'm like, yo, what happened? The doctors eventually come in and tell me what happened. They put this tube down my throat so that my throat wouldn't close all the way up so that I could still breathe. And at this point, they were bringing everything in and showing me how I was gonna communicate with them. They came in with the dry erase board and a marker, pencil and paper, and that's when I kind of realized I was gonna be writing out everything I was saying. Okay, so after this, they explained to me that I was gonna have to talk by writing down what I needed or writing down what I wanted or pressing the button so that they can come in and then I can type it out and tell them all of that. Everything I've explained up to now is how I got in the situation of the picture and the thumbnail and the picture that I've showed y'all. That's how I got to that point. Now after that, there was only so much I could do. While laying there connected to all of that stuff, I couldn't do much at all. I could be on my phone every now and then, but that got kind of boring. And I could think. Thinking was the most crucial thing in this point, because at that point, I had just started doing YouTube videos and I had maybe like a couple thousand subscribers, but not, very many at all. That was something I always wanted to do. I was always like, man, I want to do these YouTube videos. I want to do animations, but I had never took it serious before this situation. I spent so much time thinking while I was sitting there, it was ridiculous. Like, I rethought my whole life. I was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with my life? And I was also thinking and praying that I made it through that situation, because I had heard of somebody else being in that same situation and they didn't make it through. Like, I had so much faith that I was gonna make it through that situation. Okay, so Only thing I could do in this time was think. And I feel like in that time, the one thing that I hold with me is I feel like I wouldn't have made it through that situation if I didn't use that time doing like my thinking and my praying. I feel like my prayer is what gave me a lot of my positivity that hold on, my glasses is foggy. But yeah, no, my positivity is what gave me a lot of my faith that I was gonna get through that situation. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward, I'm hooked up to all these machines, everything. I was in that for like 2 to 3 weeks. About 2 to 3 weeks, I watched all of my family, well, not all of my family members. I watched a lot of my family members walk in, look at me, cry, and walk out. Some of them sat there, some of them, sat there, and they couldn't talk to me because I would have to write everything down, which was weak. But some family members came in and just sat there and looked at me. It was a very, very tough situation. Very, very, very tough situation. But the crazy part about that is when I was sitting there thinking in that situation when I couldn't talk, I was thinking like, man, I really need to put 100% of my focus on what I want to do. Like, I had a day job, don't get me wrong, I was doing graphic design, but I was telling myself like, yo, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to do animation. Like, why am I not doing it? Like, I need to do that. So man, the day I got out of the hospital, I had to recover and stuff, but once I got done recovering, I told myself like, yo, YouTube 100%. I said all of that just to say, a month after I got out of there, I put out my first viral cartoon. It went viral overnight. 1 point, almost 2 million views overnight. Celebrities reposting it, all of that. That's a month into me really taking it serious. Now, I'm not here to tell you that it all happened overnight. No, because it was 2 years of me working towards it. Like, before I got sick, I had been putting out cartoons and stuff like that. I had been trying to do it. It just wasn't going anywhere. But once I put my time into it and I started sacrificing and put all the excuses I had, once I put them excuses down and I sacrificed sleep and 100% I put everything into my goal, it happened. A month after I got out of the hospital, viral video. And from that point forward, it continued to keep going because I kept working, kept grinding, stayed motivated, stayed dedicated. But it all stemmed from that low, that very, very low moment. It was a low moment in time where I felt like, I wasn't gonna make it through. And I stayed down, I prayed, and I stayed focused. And once I got out of that bad situation, I finally had the chance to go towards my goals and do everything that I said I was gonna do. That's when it turned around. It's all about, it's really about I don't know if you guys have ever heard about the law of attraction. You can look it up on YouTube, but I think about that a lot because it's a lot that goes into it. But the main thing is, if you see something, the main thing is it's really about manifesting your dreams. If you say you're gonna do it, it'll happen. If you work towards it, it'll happen. It's a lot of that stuff. You guys can look up the law of attraction and manifestation and stuff like that. I don't want to be that channel, but yeah, this is my story. This is my story of coming from a very, very low situation and turning it into something else. I was in a hospital with a chance that I might not have made it out. Today, I'm a successful black animator. I went from sleeping on the couch with my kids to making 6 figures. And I just want to be able to, use that story to motivate somebody else to do that same thing. Not exactly the same thing, of course, but to follow their dreams and realize that when you're at the bottom, you won't be there for long. Especially if you stay motivated and you keep working towards something, you won't be at the bottom for too long. So if you feel like you're in a spot where things ain't getting better or you don't know if you're gonna make it through, this video is for you, because I was in that spot once upon a time and I definitely made it through. If you had a situation like that, hit me in the comment section down below, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. But whatever you do, just don't give up. If you don't know me, my name is Brandon Reed. I go by the cartoon Connect on the internet. I hope this video helps somebody. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Wake up, get on the ground, and I repeat. All this supreme really boosts my self-esteem. I took a leap, made a plan to chase a dream. Must I repeat? Everything ain't what it seems. They took my bro 2 years ago, and I still grieve. Tattoo with ink, wear my heart up on my sleeve. I catch a flight, I gotta show.